Hey everybody. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about phase two. One of the things that I would say that I want to make really clear about my intention, and that is, and I think I did already in that other video, but it is a little longer, so I know a lot of people might not stay with it, especially in today's busy world. But what I want to make sure people know about this intention for this is that it's about helping all of you be better and be more effective and to pool our resources. And one of the things that I have heard, I've been doing this for like 26, 27 years, teaching, actively teaching all the time. Um, and and I did that for all these years. And I'm just telling you, I've got some experience to be able to share. But I'm not the only one. But I know the mistakes that a lot of people make in the beginning of their career in working on teaching people and struggling and not so much just necessarily programmatically struggling, like maybe your program's really good, but maybe filling your program or finding people to teach or finding ways to get into a school or whatever. And so a big part of this is to make a lot more information available to people in a really concise, very packaged, easy to follow format so that all of you can get the benefit of that information. Just like you would with a tracking field guide, like you want something that gives you information that you need to be able to identify a track or make something happen, like a shelter or whatever, to know what are the key components to putting a safe shelter together. So, so those are my intentions about it, and it's really I'm passionate about people like you. The person that's watching this video, you are who get me excited because you're someone who got turned on just like I did years and years ago, decades ago. I'm old, um, and and you're someone that is passionate about nature, passionate about the earth, and passionate like you have a lot of love to for those things out there in the world, and you want to give back, and you want to make a difference, and you want to just turn other people onto it, whatever. And and so my whole thing right now, in my stage in my career, is that like I'm not as excited about teaching debris shelters as I used to be. I've done, like I said, I've done this 26 years. I've made debris huts for probably 30 years. I'm kind of done. I'm okay if I never teach debris huts again. I probably will teach it again, but if I didn't ever teach it again, I'm good because there's only so many times that you can build a debris shelter with kids and with people and stay as excited about it. If anybody here watching this, if you're 20 years old, you don't know what I'm talking about. But imagine, you know, for anybody who's older and you've done something for a long time, okay, at a certain point, you know, you can walk away and feel good. And I'm not walking away. I'm just saying that part of this job, that part of this process, I'm kind of moving away from that right now. I'm going to be teaching people how to teach those things, and I still in doing that, I'm going to be building shelters, unfortunately. But um, the the thing is that this is what I'm passionate about, is helping you be better, to save time, to not make the 7 mistakes I made over 5 years learning about how to teach shelter to kids, um, to teach you how to get paid to do what you do, and how to then keep doing it, because we need people. One of the things that became very apparent, and this is part of phase two for me, is that with a lot of the people I talk to and a lot of the folks who are currently running schools, one of the themes that has kind of been emerging from some of the folks I've talked to is that some of them have a lot of students, or they have the potential to grow their program. But one of the things that's holding them back is that they don't have enough qualified, entry level staff. That there aren't that many people out there that that are ready to go, that they could put in front of an after school program or whatever and count on them for the next 2 or 3 years, that they would be members of their production of their school and like teach every day and crank out stuff and not make rookie mistakes and be be on time and do all those things. And so there's a tremendous need for more instructors. And that's something that I'm very focused on doing. My personal goal is to train 300 new instructors in the next 2 years. And to do that, I'm going to have to travel probably. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I know there are schools out there that if they had 3 extra staff that could kick ass, this school would really start to hum, and there'd be a lot more kids being connected and a lot more passion, a lot more community, whatever. But to do that, I've got to train instructors, not just in the skills, but also in that mindset of how to be an instructor. And there's a difference between someone learning a skill kind of just for themselves, where they're going to like kind of do some wild edibles and just kind of pitter around and whatever, and you're learning and you're excited and you practice this and you practice that. That's awesome. I mean, I was a student like that. I took the standard class with Tom Brown. I took courses with John Stokes. I took courses from, all kinds of people. And, Jake Swamp had programs that I was at. Hey, I was at some of the early workshops that John Young was teaching. Like there was a lot of really good things that were out there. And then you got to kind of pick and choose what you were passionate about. And, like, oh, I'm going to learn drums. I'm going to learn meditation. I'm going to learn tracking. Whatever. You could pick and choose. However, an instructor training program is really different because you can't necessarily just pick and choose for some of that stuff, because you're going to be on the front lines in 2 weeks or 5 days or whatever, and these kids are going to be in front of you, and you're going to have to be able to produce. You're going to have to perform. It's sort of like being a carpenter. If you want to just pitter in your wood shop and just mess around making a birdhouse here and there, that's fine. But when it comes to working, you're going to have to put siding up, which means you need to make accurate cuts and know where to place your nails and so forth, so that your siding doesn't fall off or split or break or something like that. You guys know what I'm saying, hopefully. So that's one area that I want to focus on. But what I also want to add is that every wilderness school, and I kind of have this on my website too, but every wilderness school, every instructor or whatever tracking club or homeschool or community or whatever it is, almost all of those businesses or organizations or tribes or whatever they call themselves, almost every one of them, they are probably struggling in ways that aren't apparent on the website. And you people that are listening to this right now, watching this right now, you have skills that can help them right now probably. So for example, all of these wilderness schools, all of these instructors and so forth, they probably have spent the last 5 or 6 or 10 years studying how to sleep in a debris shelter and make it so that it works, and they've studied how to tan hides, and they've got 6 or 7 hides they've made, and they've been practicing awareness, and they've been learning wild edibles, and they have their own little garden. They've done all these things, and so they have great curriculum, and they're ready to go. They're ready to get in front of kids and teach them and do all kinds of stuff. But then they start, and then they realize, oh no, it's raining all day. Oh, if only we had a little cabin that we could kind of hang out around a wood stove and work on crafts. Boy, that'd be so great. But many of them don't have those carpentry skills. So if you're someone that's watching this right now and you have some building skills, they might be able to, totally benefit from you helping them put up a little something on the 5 acres they have or whatever that would give them a little classroom space that would be professionally done, so you're not going to get in trouble with the law like that guy in North Carolina, what's his name, the mountain man guy, who had built this beautiful, I just saw his website, but anyway, he built this beautiful center, but he built it all using all old-time skills, stacking up platforms with like little rocks underneath, and then the whole things were really unstable, and then the health department came in and we're shutting you down, and this poor guy, he was building them the old way, and granted, they really probably weren't that stable for the public, but he probably stressed out quite a bit at having his school shut down and everything. So, how can you, if you're a carpenter, help someone not have their school get shut down? Or you could help them by building something that would really be awesome. But aside from building, what if you're an accountant, or what if you've run a business and you know about accounting? You might be able to come in and help a small school and say, hey, let me just go, if you need help, I can help you with, whatever you're prepared to do. I'm not saying you should go and volunteer 70 hours a week at these schools. I mean, if you can and you want to, that's great. But you could like decide, okay, I could give 8 hours a month or something like that, or 2 hours a month, or 2 hours 10 hours a year, something. But if you made yourself available to them and let them know, hey, I'm willing to help you out if you need help, that's a huge, huge help. Because most of these people that are doing these schools and most of these instructors, they're struggling. I mean, they're doing great on their own, in the sense of like they're following their vision and their dream, but they generally have a lot of pride. They want to be self-sufficient, and they don't really want to ask for help necessarily. But if somebody were to come in and say, hey, I love what you're doing, this is really awesome. What can I do to be a part of this? And hey, by the way, I have these really good fundraising skills. Or hey, I've been a manager of people for a long time. Would you want me to come and hang out with you for a couple hours and talk about your staff training? Because I've been training people for 20 years. I'd love to help you train your staff and just be there to support you any way I can. Right before camp's usually crazy time for anybody who's a director of a wilderness school. If I knew somebody was going to come in and help me out with my school, and they were willing to build a relationship with me for 3 months beforehand, oh my God, that'd be like the best gift I could ever get. So, it's like getting NBA tickets courtside or something like that. So, what I guess I'm trying to say is that you have skills. If you think about something that you are prepared to give, that you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be huge. And so all you'd have to do is start to, hopefully with phase 2, we all get together and we talk about it. And then say you live in Tennessee, you can say, hey, what wilderness schools are around me in Tennessee? Does anybody need help? What about North Carolina? What about Maryland? What about whatever? We can kind of steer each other around to helping each other. And honestly, the people, if you help someone in their staff training, whatever, like if you came and helped me out at Hawk Circle, whether it's in finances or in building or whatever, like, believe me, we believe in loyalty, man. Like, we would be loyal to you. We would, if we got to a point where we were making enough money to be able to turn around and pay you to come and help us, we would definitely do that. These other schools, I can't speak for them, but I would imagine they're the same way, because we know we have a certain level of awareness. And that level of awareness is that when we have success, we can go back and go, oh, I made a fire. Well, it was because my bow drill was carved right, and the tinder was dry, and my form was good, and my string on my bow drill bow, was strong. And so all these things led to my success. We know when we run a successful program that our staff was a success, the logistics were a success, the parents were a success. We know where our success comes from. And if you're that third or fourth or fifth person or reason, we're going to remember that, and we're going to try to make sure we can give something back to you. So there's a lot of honor in this field, and it's really important to us anyway, to me anyway. I shouldn't speak for anybody else. I'm just saying for myself, I would feel that way, and I'm pretty sure that most other wilderness schools feel the same way. So you would benefit, it would come back to you, and it will also come back in the form of a lot of other kids getting a better experience, a lot of other adults getting a better experience, a lot of other people getting something really powerful from that. So I'm just wanting to let you know, and if you go to my website, and eventually we're going to have this Facebook page or whatever, like, I'm going to try to make sure that all of you have access to these things, and I'm going to keep putting out ideas, because you don't really realize how many skills you have. If you're 35 years old, you've got a lot of skills. Now, you might not be God's gift to foraging right yet, but you have skills that are helpful. Maybe it's just to come to a program and take pictures and volunteer to take a bunch of pictures, because I know for me, when I'm teaching, I can't take a picture of myself when I'm teaching. That doesn't look too cool to be like giving myself a selfie or something like that. Not cool. So when somebody comes and takes a picture of me, well, usually I'm like pretty shy, so I'm like, oh God, I don't want, probably not going to like that picture, but that's just me. But it really helps me to have pictures that somebody else took to be able to put that into a program, because your eye and how you see the program and how you get pictures of the participants in action, it's awesome. That's fantastic. I could go on and on, but I'll leave that for another time. But I'm just saying, go to the website, and go to the Facebook page, Wolverine Way. Talk to us about this stuff. We'll get started. We'll get more ideas going, and see what we can do, because it's really exciting when you get a little bit of a team flow going, and you're not just an instructor sitting there with a bunch of kids, or hoping a bunch of people are going to show up. But when you've got a team behind you, it changes the energy of everything. It's awesome. It's like, what I want to do is have us not be these small wilderness schools just kind of chugging along, but I want to have us be more like the Super Bowl, where you've got fans and you got people going, yeah, we're behind you, man. We want to see you doing well. What do you guys need? How can we help? How can we make something awesome? And know that we are actually contributing, even if we're just putting in a little bit, like in the Super Bowl, which that was a sad Super Bowl this year in some ways, but every guy on the team gets a ring, right? I mean, in NBA, you get a championship ring. Even if you're a guy that's on the bench that never went in any of the games, you still get a ring. And it's because you're part of the success of that team. And so I want to be able to give, I don't know, some kind of birch bark ring or something to any of you that wants to help make this happen. I don't really have any birch bark rings, so please don't email me and ask for one. but you should have one, and somebody should have one, and maybe we can make one. So the whole idea is to have us give us the confidence to come in and go, hey, I don't have wilderness skills, or I have only a few, but I can help, And just so you know, I'll just throw this out as well. Some of these guys that are running wilderness programs, guys, women, whoever, I'm sorry for offending anybody by saying that. Some of these folks, they're pretty overwhelmed. So even if you ask them to help, it might take them a month or two to get back to you, just because they're trying to catch up and do everything. They may not have an easy avenue for you to plug right in. So don't be offended if don't think like, oh, well, they don't care, blah, blah. It isn't necessarily they don't care. They just oftentimes are really overwhelmed. You also want to make sure you go to a place that actually feels good to you. Like if you just don't resonate with someone, hey, that's okay. You don't have to. You go with whoever you like, whoever you're excited about, and check them out and feel it out and see. I'm not asking anybody to actually volunteer. You do what you want to do. But I just know what it's like to be on either side, and I know what it's like to be trying to to sit down and go, how am I going to accomplish all the things I need to accomplish in the next 7 days before this camp starts? And there's only one of me, and I have 7 staff, and I have, I got to get the lawnmower from the shop, and I've got to get this such and such built, and I've got to train people. It's really a tough place. And so the earlier we start, though, the earlier you can start to help out, the better it can be. So anyway, that's my spiel on that. So hope that helps you a little bit too.